This meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please stay seated, but put your hands over your heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. We are being broadcast live over YouTube and our Van Buren Television Channel 12. Clerk Wright, could you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Trustee Borden.
Yep.
Trustee Miller.
Here.
Trustee Martin. I see you. I know you're there.
Here. Here we go.
Trustee Frazier.
Here.
Treasurer Bud.
Here.
The clerk is present. Supervisor.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Today's executive summary, the consent agenda will consist of the board meeting minutes, some prepaid lists, a couple voucher lists, and the approval of the 2021 individual hourly rate schedule for as-needed engineering contractor services. There will be a presentation for resolution for a resolution to honor our newest judge, Elisa Robinson Martin, as the first 34th District Court African-American judge. Other new business will include discussion of the 2021 SMART contract, discussion of the 2021 coronavirus aid relief and transportation contract with SMART, and discussion of the 2020 Planning Commission's annual report, discussion of the 2020 Blight Control and Demolition Management Program, and finally a discussion on the selection, purchase, and installation of a Washington Tensile structure at the French Landing Park. Continuing forward, we're moving on to the next item, which will be adoption of the agenda. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move.
Super.
You know what? Okay, I'm going to take Don Boynton because he actually called out first. Don? Oh, actually, no. Yeah, Don, whatever. Don Boynton and Sherry Frazier.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Hearing none, roll call, please. I never get used to that.
Trustee Frazier.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Trustee Borden.
Yep.
Yes for me. Treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Now, the next one, I can't remember where I'm supposed to be on this one. Hold on.
Consent agenda.
What's that?
Adoption of the consent agenda.
Got it. Trustee Martin, it is your turn. Would you like to make the motion for the adoption of the consent agenda?
We adopt a consent agenda as presented. Item 1, board meeting minutes of January 19, 2021. Item 2, prepaid list of January 21st, 2021. Item 3, prepaid list of January 28th, 2021. Item 4, voucher list of February 2nd, 2021. Item 5, approval of the 2021 individual hourly rate schedule, Fishbeck, Thompson, Carr, and Huber Incorporated, better known as Fishbeck, as needed engineering contractor services.
Support.
There's support from Boynton, is that what I heard?
Yep.
Yeah, Boynton, okay. All right, consent agenda, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call, please. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, that's a yes for me. Trustee Borden.
Yep.
Trustee Frazier.
Yes.
Trustee Martin.
Yes.
Trustee Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Supervisor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Move down to public hearing, we have none. We then go down to correspondence, announcements, and presentations. I'm going to begin with the presentation to our judge. Moderator is Judge Martin, and there's There she is.
Yeah.
Judge Martin, are you in there?
I am here.
Oh, great.
Uh-oh, the judge is here.
You don't have power.
So, it's important that our community get to know our newest judge. Judges don't get, new judges don't come along very often. When they do come, they generally stay for a long time. You are going to be a major part of our lives hopefully for a long time.
You want to sit me over here.
And so the board unequivocally wanted me to introduce you to the community. And the best way for the board to introduce a person to the community is by a resolution of honor. So I have a resolution, which was one of the prettier ones we've ever done. It really looks nice. And I'm going to read it if you don't mind. Whereas on Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, Lisa Martin was elected to serve as judge in the 34th District Court, becoming the first African-American woman to serve in this position. Whereas Lisa Martin is the daughter of Kenny and Robin Robinson, sister Angelique and Nataka, and wife of the Honorable Trustee Kevin Martin, who I'm sure are all very proud of you. Whereas Lisa Martin was inspired to pursue a legal career by her Aunt Nancy Rowe, who served as corporation counsel to the Comey Young administration. Sure, she's pretty proud. Whereas Lisa Martin's impressive educational background includes alumnus of Detroit Cass Technical High School, Harvard University, and the University of Michigan, where she earned her Juris Doctorate. Whereas Lisa Martin has a well-rounded legal career, serving as law clerk in the 9th Judicial Circuit Court, she represented indigent clients for the Legal Aid and Defenders Association of Detroit. She's an associate in several law. She's represented business clients in litigation, where she is also co-chair for the State Bar of Michigan's Unauthorized Practice of Law Committee. And most recently, she has been our magistrate in the 34th District Court. Lisa Martin is a proud member of various nonprofits, professionally, and community organizations, including Operation Refuge, Healthy Kids, Western Wayne County's NAACP, and the Black Women Trial Lawyers Association of Michigan. Whereas Lisa Martin was elected to serve as judge because she values fairness and the equal treatment of all people under the law. Now, therefore, be it resolved by this board that on the second day of February 2021, the Van Buren Township Board of Trustees recognizes the extraordinary achievements of Lisa Martin, her commitment to upholding justice, her advocacy for the unprecedented and disadvantaged, and for her breaking racial barriers in the profession of law. It ends that way. Thank you very much, Ms. Martin, or Judge Martin. We're so happy to have you. And if anybody else would like to make a comment, we'd love to hear it.
Did Kevin Martin sign that? When I came in, it wasn't signed. Kevin, did you sign your wife's resolution?
I certainly did.
All right.
Look at his hand though. What happened when he did?
See,
He made him.
those pesky pens.
I will have this delivered to your house tomorrow. So,
She's tough.
okay. All right.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I would just like to say congratulations to Lisa. I'm so glad that her husband serves with us. And now we're going to make sure that we know what you're doing and you're going to serve with us. And welcome aboard. You'll be much appreciated. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Clerk Wright.
Yes, Miss Martin, Judge Martin, congratulations on your accomplishments. I know you and your husband and your family worked hard to achieve this. I hope you enjoy every moment that you have in that office, and we do look forward to being a company of yours for a long time. And hopefully, I don't have to see you that soon, but.
Hopefully never.
Congratulations. Thank you for all your support also. Bye.
Anybody else want to comment?
Supervisor
That's trustee Frazier.
is just so proud of Lisa and Kevin for serving our community so well.
We are, very much so. And we're honored to have Harvard, that's pretty good. Michigan, that's great. Cass Tech, well, Belleville beat them, but.
Yeah, Bubba,
All right. Okay. Well,
Should've
thank
won the
you. Did you
championship.
say anything, Judge Martin?
Just very briefly, Supervisor McNamara, I'd like to thank you and the board for the resolution. I'd like to thank all of you for your support of Kevin and I during our time out here. Kevin's been here for a quarter of a century. I've been here 14 years. I love living in Van Buren Township, and I look forward to serving the community as its judge. I've been on the bench for about a month now, and I look forward to having the Van Buren Township Board come see our new building. So whenever you're ready for a tour, get a group of you together, give me a call. I'd be happy to take you through the building. I think you'll really love it.
Okay, I think we scheduled it for Thursday.
Then I'll see you on Thursday. Sounds good.
Good. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Don't ask
Enjoy
us.
the rest of your meeting.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay. Does anybody else have any presentations or announcements that they want to make? I have a few, but it's Clerk Wright.
I'd like to announce that the township is open by appointment Monday through Friday, 10 to 3. And the township offices will be closed February 15th in observance of President's Day. And last but not least, happy Black History Month. We will be celebrating and sharing facts about African-American leaders and innovators all month long. So stay tuned all month as we celebrate Black History leaders. Did you know on January 3rd, 1987, Aretha Franklin was the first female artist inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Known as the Queen of Soul, she is still one of the most honored artists in Grammy Award history, with 18 Grammys under her belt. We'll be sharing facts like this all month long on our Van Buren Charter Township Facebook page and on our glorious, beautiful dirt board in the township. So stay tuned and keep an eye out. Give us a thumbs up every time you see one. If you see something that you don't already know. There's quite a few of them I looked at already that I didn't know. So I think, Black History Month, we have a short time to celebrate it, but it's something I think that need to be taught more in the schools. I know it's something that some of our youth are missing out on. They don't know some of the facts of Black history, and I think it's almost kind of a little bit of in service not to engage more on Black history, because if you ask some of them for just simple things like Martin Luther King, they're not aware of who Martin Luther King is. And I think some of these things need to be taught or shared more, not even in the household, but more in school.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Miller, Trustee Miller.
We have many African-American leaders right here in our township. Case in point, we just had our first African-American judge, Lisa Martin, appointed to the bench, and that's amazing. Maybe at our next meeting, we could celebrate our local heroes. I'd like to hear more about the clerk's position, who he is and what he's about, and maybe we should do that all month long. Let's celebrate our local heroes.
Okay.
So Clerk Wright, I'd like to introduce you next meeting. I'll learn more about you, and we should introduce you as a local hero as well. So
I really appreciate that, Reggie. Trustee, I really do. I appreciate that. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Okay, I see Kevin with his hand up, but I don't think it.
His
means
good
much.
hand?
So just to make sure that the public knows, and we've got a rec center that we're looking at building, If you have any ideas, send in your, call us up, leave your ideas off with us, send us an email. It's on our front page of our website. We're doing some social media stuff, so send it in that way. Send in video clips, send in whatever you want. We'll get them. We just want any ideas that you've got about this. So far, we've got about, last I looked at, it was about 10, 9 positive, 1 not so positive, but I've talked with that person and I think they've changed their mind. But the only problem we do have is that we have a big push for a pool and it's probably not going to happen. Building something is one thing, it's running it is another. Building is, you can pay for things over time and build what you want, but it's hard to operate something with something that expensive in it. I do have other news. We have another thing, Harris Park. Harris Park won the 2020, see, what is this? The best placemaking project in the state of Michigan by the Downtown Association, and it's brick. So it's a brick for the Harris Park, and there's another probably a Black History Month story that we probably should tell. One of the original families in Van Buren, and that one will actually go probably, just to remind everybody, last year we got the best splash park in the state.
You're here.
All right.
We're moving up.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Of course, everybody should know that the Forgotten Harvest is still on Tuesdays from 2 to 4. I think we had 275 families today. There is a need, and it's still doing real well. And the last of the masks are being handed out this week. We'll do the apartments after that, which we're actually going to start the apartments this week. They'll be hand delivered because they're easy to do. And the masks are done. Blood donor drives are moving along. We're a hot commodity. We're local government, and we're not the least form of government, but we're probably the lead form of government. But they make all the rules, and then we're the ones that have to do the job. And Van Buren Township is definitely leading. We're taking care of things like the masks and food. People are hungry, so we're getting food out. We're taking care of the public health by getting some blood drives going on. And the masks, if you want to reinvigorate the economy, you've got to reinvigorate the health of the economy, and the masks are the number one way to do it. So,
Supervisor,
yes, clerk.
before we move on, while I'm thinking about it, I would like to thank the Director Ireland and her assistant, Ms. Lossinger, for what they do with the DDA. I don't think they get enough attention to what they do. I mean, that park is the envision of Harris Park, which you just picked up 2 awards for, and also their help with the splash park. They do a lot for Van Buren Township, and I don't think the people know how much they do. A lot of things that we enjoy, we wouldn't be enjoying it if it wasn't for the DDA and the contribution that the DDA has made to the township. So I just want, while I'm thinking about it, I think they deserve a big thank you from me and probably all of us, the Board of Trustees, because they do a great job, and I don't think they get the accolade that they deserve. So thank you if you're listening. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Trustee Martin.
I just like one of my coworkers who lives in Van Buren Township stopped me a few days ago, and she just wanted to thank this board for sending those masks out. She was very appreciative, and I told her I would pass that on to the rest of the board.
I had phone calls, 2 phone calls. I'll leave it at 2. 2 phone calls Sunday afternoon for people that attended mass. One at St. Andrews and one of the local Baptist churches. And they both said there were masks throughout the crowd. So you knew they got their mass that week. Yeah. All right.
You wore a mask to mask, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, new business.
Through the chair,
Yes.
Just one other announcement would be that taxes are due to my office by the end of February so that they meet the March 1st deadline before they have to go delinquent to the county. So just a reminder, put them in the mailbox. If you got a check, you can drop them in the box out by the road. You can drop them in the box at the police lobby. And if you want to call, you can make an appointment and come in and we can handle it if it's cash or whatever you need. We are still there. So come in, see us, take care of it. Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna work with you. We really are. All right. Okay, so new business. My eyes are going. Discussion on and to consider, this is a consider approval of 2021 Suburban Mobile Authority for Regional Transportation Smart Contract. It's also, I'd like to take it in conjunction with the other one, which is another smart contract that has some coronavirus money involved with it.
So are we combining the two?
I would like to combine the two. Trustee Miller, would you like to read those off?
Yes, I will. I'll make a motion for new business item number 1 and 2, discussion on and to consider approval of the 2021 Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation Smart it's supposed to be contract, correct?
Yes.
Discussion on and to consider approval of the 2021 Coronavirus Aid Relief Transportation between the Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation, known as SMART, and the Charter Township of Van Buren.
Support.
Thank you. I didn't hear who supported.
Terry Bud.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, is Director Jordan out there or am I on this? Director Jordan, I see your name.
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Could you speak on these two contracts, which we do every year, I think, or one of them every year?
Yes. Normally, this contract is handled through Parks and Recreation, and due to furloughing, my department has taken it over. So I am asking the board to consider the smart contract of $22,380 for 2021. It is basically a housekeeping item. There are no changes in that contract. And also the 2021 the coronavirus aid relief. That is also for $22,380. That money we would have through 2023 to actually spend it. It would be used for transportation to keep driver as well as passengers safe. We can use it to outfit vehicles. We can use it for a number of things.
Okay, and is the first,
Yes.
before you go on, is the first
Yeah.
one tied to the summer camp or not?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, so that is used for summer camp as well as transportation, senior transportation as well.
all right. Trustee Miller, you made the motion.
Yes, just one quick question. So this pandemic is still continuing. The money that we had set aside for this in 2020, we used, no matter what, we've used those funds. I want everyone to understand that. And we'll use them again in 2021, even though we have some programs shut down right now.
Correct.
Just wanted to reiterate that. All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have a question? Hearing no.
Supervisor, just like to say, this is important for our residents. Transportation, getting around in today's world is not an easy task. And there's lots of people that lack transportation, and this is a great service.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Clerk Wright, could you take the roll, please?
Yes, I will. Trustee Borden,
Yep.
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes,
Trustee Treasurer Bud?
Yes.
Yes for me, Supervisor.
Yes,
Both motion pass.
thank you very much, sir. Okay, number 3, discussion on and to consider approval of the 2020 Planning Commission's annual report. I'm going to ask Treasurer Bud if she would make that motion.
Yes. I would make a motion that we adopt the 2020 Planning Commission Annual Report.
Support.
Treasurer? Okay. All right, Director Power. There he is.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Board.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Board. I want to just recap that every year per the Michigan Planning Enabling Act, the Planning Commission for its development and Planning Commission approval activities board summary report. And so that's the purpose of my discussion with you tonight. Sometimes this is a consent agenda item, but I think it's a good opportunity now this year to go over some of the activities that we've done over the past year, especially since last year was so unusual. I'll start with some of the basic facts. We've had a number of meetings. The Planning Commission has actually been able to meet in 2020 for 16 of their 22 scheduled meetings, despite the constraints of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many of those meetings were remote, but they proceeded regardless. There were 9 public hearings held. 3 of those were for zoning ordinance text amendments, and then there was 1 rezoning and 5 development project public hearings. There were 4 preliminary site plan approvals for projects such as Jiffy Lube, senior housing, Camping World. There were 3 final site plan approvals. As you recall, there's a preliminary step.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Somebody has something going on in the background, which is making it very difficult to hear. So I guess we'll have to ask everybody to hit their mutes for a moment, okay? And you're back on schedule, unless you're the guy with the music in the background.
Let's try that again. I do see my video has been disabled, and maybe there's something going on. Here we go. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I was just going over that we had 4 preliminary site plan approvals, 3 final site plan approvals. If you recall, there's a preliminary step where a lot of the really finite details of zoning and engineering come through, and then a developer will take a project through the Wayne County approval process for stormwater, soil erosion approvals, and any sort of paving design. And then there's a final site plan approval that's a more straightforward process at the Planning Commission's end. So we had 3 of those last year. There were 4 special land use approvals. Some of those development projects have a unique set of standards under our special land use requirements. So we had 4 of those. There were 3 site plan amendments, 6 temporary land use approvals, such as for our fireworks sales events, and if there's a the food truck, such as the Waters Kitchen in front of Menards. There were 3 recommendations for zoning ordinance text amendments. There were 2 significant master plan actions, including distributing our draft master plan for comment from our neighboring municipalities and also recommending the final draft to the township board. There were also some tree removals as part of development activities. So to highlight some of the significant activities, the Planning Commission oversees all aspects of significant development in the township. On the heels of the Planning Commission's hard work over recent years, you can see that projects like the Ashley Crossroads North Distribution Center site, which is 1.5 million square feet of different kinds of industrial space and distribution space, is being built and is almost complete for the first 2 buildings. The Subaru site, the 60,000 square foot research and development center for Subaru, was completed back in the beginning part of 2020. We also see development in the residential side continuing to grow with projects such as the Victoria Estates north of Ecorse Road, east of Morton Taylor Road, that is moving into its second phase. And the Planning Commission continues to oversee residential growth through approvals of architecture and these subdivision projects and things of that nature. And so there were a lot of really important activities that the Planning Commission oversaw in 2020. And then, of course, at the end result of this is the building permits that get processed through the Planning and Economic Development Department. So just a quick note on the building permits, despite it being a limiting year with what was happening with limits on construction during COVID, there were I have 815 permits in my report as of December 17th, issued in 2020. And that included 94 new single-family home permits with 86 houses and 8 condominiums. So it was a very productive year on the planning and building side. And I commend the planning commissioners for all their hard work and continuing to very carefully review and help to establish good standards for development in the township while still overseeing a lot of development. One of the other goals of the Planning and Economic Development Department is increasingly to be showing our information and our activities and making our activities accessible. So briefly, I will show the board that now there is public access to some information about some of these recent development project approvals. So I will just briefly share my screen. Let me pull up, I'm going to go right to our website and just to show you how you can access this interactive development projects map. So if you go to the front page and you go to the pop-up box, that link at the very bottom of the pop-up box right now is a interactive map showing some of the active development in the township. And this is not all activities that were approved in 2020, but it certainly relates to what the Planning Commission was working on in 2020. What you see here is dots representing development projects in various stages of review and approval. And so just to highlight some of the projects that are in sort of have skin in the game and have applied formally for review by the Planning Commission, all the way from pre-review where they've made a formal application and they're waiting either for a second meeting or their first meeting, all the way up to recently completed projects. So this will give you a sense, and if you zoom in, you can start to see the parcel fabric of the township, and then you can see where these projects are. And for projects that have gone through some stage of approval with the Planning Commission, these are serious projects that have a likelihood of at least getting to that final site plan review stage if they haven't already. And in those projects, I wanted to make sure that people had access to plans and records of approval and review, such as the reports and the minutes. So if you're on this map and you click a project that's in one of those later stages, in some cases up to their pre-final review stage, such as Jiffy Lube here, you can look and you click the pop-up window by clicking the dot. Then you can access a link to the application packet for the project. That'll open up a new window where we've hosted, I think this takes a minute to load, but you can see the application with the review packet inside of it. So you can see the comments that staff had. You can click on the minutes of approval. And for this one, you can see this is just the draft minutes from the Jiffy Lube project review in December of 2020. And then you can see the plans also, the plans that were presented at the final review stage or the preliminary review stage. So you have a sense of how the project is designed and what it looks like. And this can be really helpful for as much as we try to make sure our residents know about all the different development in the township. There can inevitably be some situations where there's construction and folks that might now know what was approved half a mile down the road. So this is a chance for everybody to be able to go on and look at the map and find out what's going on there and what was approved. So this is something that we'll continue to develop and at least have a lot of information out there for the projects that are nearing completion of the approval process or the construction process. So if anybody has a chance to click around on there and has any questions that they'd like to ask about it, feel free to reach out to me or our department, and we can help you out. But I just, to reiterate, I'd just like to commend the Planning Commission and the board for all the different development that you handle every year.
Okay. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Trustee Frazier?
Just wanted to ask, so all residents have access to this information. It's out there and they can get it. They know where the township's headed in the direction of planning. And if they have questions, they can bring it to your attention or to the board's attention. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's the idea. This is right on the front page of the website right now.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
Trustee Miller, sorry. Here's muted.
Sorry, gosh, that's frustrating. I just want to take a moment and reach out and thank Trustee Don Boynton for all his years on the Planning Commission. He's very valuable, and it's just nice to see all the work that's been done, and Don should be recognized for that as well. I know that he's no longer serving on that board, and we should say thank you, because he worked on many, many of these projects and attended countless meetings.
Thank you.
Well,
Hey.
thank you, Trustee Miller. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, I have no further questions, so I'm going to ask our good clerk Wright to call the roll.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
trustee Miller,
Yes.
trustee Frazier,
Yes.
trustee Boyden,
Yep.
trustee Bud, trustee Bud,
Your microphone.
Yes, 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 yes.
that's for me. Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, moving on, discussion on the 2020 Blight Control and Demolition Management Program. Can I get a motion to receive and file this, well, you know what? Do we even have to receive and file this? Sure, why not? So, Don,
So moved.
Trustee Frazier. And then I heard Don, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Dan Power, take us home.
Thank you very much, board. And we also have Vidya Krishnan, our principal planner and planning consultant, who really leads the efforts on our blight and demolition program and has in recent years. And so I'll give an overview of what this program is all about and go over some of the highlights from 2020. So in our township, the Van Buren Township reviews blight and demolition activities through its planning and economic development department. Funding for these activities has traditionally in recent years been supported by the federal government Housing and Urban Development Department's CDBG, or Community Development Block Grant Program. And so we do receive some budgetary support for that, and some is allocated in every year's budget cycle in our demolition account. The process for blight control and demolition begins with an inspection or an observation of a blighted property. And then there are notices that are issued to the property, and there's a chance always for rehabilitation. And depending on the outcome of those efforts, there can be the next step that's taken, which is the process toward a demolition, which involves cutting off the township's utilities and stopping electrical and gas service to different properties. 2020 was a difficult year for everybody, but that certainly includes property owners and occupants who have blighted properties. So the township made every effort to give property owners and occupants a chance to work through any issues and provided flexibility in making sure that they were given every opportunity to rehabilitate properties. And despite the limits of what could be done this past year, there were significant activities. We had 7 properties where there was voluntary demolition of either an entire dwelling or a garage or similar structure. There were 5 properties where notices have been issued and rehabilitation has voluntarily occurred. The township did demolish recently 1 property at 41563 Hamlin Street. And then there are 45 or more ongoing rehabilitation projects in the township. We submit quarterly reports to Wayne County for their administration of the HUD funding through the CDBG program. And we will continue to work through every effort to find other funding opportunities for 2022 grants. As you saw in your last meeting, you on the board have re-engaged with an agreement with the county to keep that relationship going, where we can continue to work with Wayne County as an urban county to support CDBG funding to our community. So this is a strong program that continues to move along as it was intended to do, and we are glad to answer any questions about the program.
Vidya, do you want to say anything before we get into this?
Thank you, Supervisor, members of the board. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to run this program for another successful year in the township. As Director Power mentioned, it was a difficult year, 2020, not just for homeowners. Many people were struggling financially, and we took every opportunity to give people time and space in order to comply. Those properties that were demolished by the homeowners voluntarily, and cases such as 41563 Hamlin, we took it to the final step of demolition because the structure became a source of public safety issue. The structure was covered in mold. It was just falling apart, and the gentleman who lived there had passed on, and his estate did not want to have anything to do with the structure. And the neighbors were being affected by this dilapidated structure in the middle of the subdivision, which is why the township took the initiative to clean up the property. The whole goal of this program is to continue to highlight Van Buren as a gateway community, a destination place where people want to come and build homes. As Director Powers said, we had 94 new single-family homes. And part of the reason why people want to come to Van Buren and build their homes here is they can see how the community is changing. We have vibrant homes being built, new homes being built in Victoria Estate Sub, also in Country Walk. So many homes are getting built. There are newer families coming in, more school-going children, and Blight definitely creates a damper on a community's image. So cleaning up Blight is very important towards the overall goal of making the community look better. We have slowly been getting liens paid off on some of these properties that were demolished in previous years. We have about $44,000 to $45,000 in the township program funds, which technically belongs to Wayne County. We expect some more funds to come in because a couple of other outstanding liens are also going to get paid off. My next step is to try to work with Wayne County to allow us to use the money to continue this program rather than try to recapture the money back. So that is the goal for this year, to help keep the money within the township itself. It is the county's through HUD, but we would like to have the ability to use it to make Van Buren better. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. As always, if you have a question about any particular property on our list, please feel free to reach out to me or to Director Power, and we will be happy to provide you with all the details. Thank you, Supervisor.
You're welcome. Thank you. So obviously, we've got a great blight program. We've knocked out dozens of homes. When we knock these houses down, it's extremely, everybody in the neighborhood knows it, and half the time they know the people that are there. The amazing thing to me is that in 4 years, in the dozens of homes that we've knocked down, I couldn't count on one hand how many people complained about it. I mean, and I could probably count, and I only think of one that I know that we got 2 or 3 complaints from, but it was the owner that actually wanted us to take it down. They didn't have the money to do it, and it was infested. It was a horrible mess. The program's working. I went out the other day, last month. I think I told the story. I used to go out and piece of pad of paper and fill my pad of paper with homes that were blighted. And I drove for probably an hour and a half, and I didn't have a single solitary home. And that never happened to me before. There's still homes out there, but I mean, there's a lot less than there was in the last 4 years. It's amazing. Good job. Anybody else like to speak? Trustee Miller?
Supervisor,
Yeah.
through the chair. Now, I noticed that you have voluntary compliance with some of these properties. Do we have any funds to help these homeowners, these property owners, bring their home up to compliance? And then if a home is destroyed, is taken out, what happens to the property then? Especially on Hamlin, for instance.
So any of the program where voluntary compliances, these are homeowners who actually have the money to bring the site into compliance. They just didn't know that it was violating any property maintenance code. So when we issue the first notice, they call us and say, oh, okay, fine. We always intended to take it down. We just, weren't in a hurry to do it. But if it's violating your property maintenance code, we'll go ahead and clean up the property. We have never demolished a home where the people were living in it. We do not intend to put anyone out on the streets. Most of the homes that are demolished are ones that have been abandoned, or the owner has passed on and their heirs or the estate is not interested in doing anything with the property. So whenever we demolish such properties, Trustee Miller, whatever money that is spent on the demolition will be placed as a lien on the property.
Okay.
We record it as a lien with the property. So in the future, anyone who buys the property, the lien first gets paid off and we get the money back.
I see.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, and anybody who wants to help fix up their home, we do our very best to help them get into the Wayne County system to get a housing rehab loan. Previously, the county used to give money to individual communities so that we could administrate the program. But a couple of years ago, they changed their policy and kept all the money with themselves, and they handle all the rehab. So we do our best to help homeowners who need help put forth the best application that they can, so their chances of getting some funds for rehabilitation are great.
That's important. Thank you so much.
All right. Anybody else? Hearing none, clerk, could you call the roll? Treasurer Bud, did you want to speak before we call the roll?
I was just going to make a comment that hats off to Vidya, because the housing rehab she's had to work through and dealing with Wayne County and all, with no staff around and all she's dealt with, she's done a supreme job. And between Dan Powers, Matt Best, and Elizabeth, they have really stepped up and done a great job that most of you don't know about, but the Planning Commission does, and we're so very proud of all those people.
Thank you to all.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're back to Clerk Wright. Clerk Wright, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I will. Thank you guys also. So with that being said, it's a yes for me. Trustee Boyden,
Yes.
Trustee Frazier,
Trustee Frazier, you're on mute. You're muted.
Sherry, turn your speaker on. Turn your microphone on.
You can come
Yes,
back.
she did. There she goes.
Okay, yes.
you told me out. Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Treasurer Bud,
Yes.
Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, did you get Don Boynton in that?
I think I did him first.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was first.
All right, being the lazy man I am, Leon, I know that you're interested in number 5. Could you please make the motion?
Yes, I will. Discussion on and to consider approval of the selection of Tensile structure systems for the purchase and installation of the Washington Tensile structure at French Landing Park with the amount of $138,000 to be drawn from the Wayne County Parks Millage Grant Line Item 101-718-973-001.
Support.
Matthew Best.
Okay, I have a motion and I have support by Mr. Boynton. Director Best, could you take it from there?
Yes, thank you, board. I appreciate your time tonight. I'd like to start by saying that the Department of Public Services, as you're aware, has been diligently working on the French Landing Park project. The centerpiece of this project's design has been a pavilion structure, which would be the feature in the park that would provide the attraction to new activities, multi-use space. And during the initial design project, a tensile structure was recommended. As we move forward and the design process went on and we looked at the size of the area that we had, the trees that were staying, it was decided that a tensile structure would be used as the multi-purpose pavilion. The department solicited proposals through its landscape architect for a unique tensile structure for the French Landing Park project. This proposal ended up recommending the selection of the Washington from Tensile Structure Systems. This structure was priced out at $138,000 installed. In order to build and create the plans and specs to bid the project out, the entire project for phase one that we talked about last board meeting for the French Landing Park Improvements Project, the selection of the tensile structure needs to be done in advance. The reason for this is so that the engineer can design the project and the contractors can accurately bid on the project. After doing extensive review and looking at the unique benefits of this structure to the multi-use goal of a pavilion, the Department of Public Services recommends that the Board of Trustees selects Tensile Structure Systems for the purchase and installation of this Washington tensile structure at French Landing Park. If approved, the next steps will involve the integration of the Washington tensile structure into the bid plans and specs. The project will then be bid out to general contractors on BidNet, which is very similar to what My Deal does and what we've done for all our large projects, and also advertised in the local paper. Once bids have been received and tabulated and reviewed, a recommendation for that large proposal will be brought to the Board of Trustees for approval. Just a couple of points I'd like to highlight about the tensile structure system. I'm going to share my screen so that the people at home can see what we're talking about. Okay, so this is the Washington tensile structure. It's unique, and in doing our homework on tensile structures, there's a lot of companies that do these. However, each of them are unique in shape, size, height, number of poles, and features that can be added. So when we went and talked with our landscape architect to go out and find tensile structure systems that could look and fit the criteria that we had for the design, which included a large enough space to be used for multi-purpose activities, yoga classes, picnicking, meetings, hanging out and watching the sunset. But also, two, we wanted to have power available on the site, and we wanted the future ability to put lights on the structure if we wanted to in the future. And so we also looked at the third factor, which is durability and longevity. We wanted a structure that would last at least 20 years and with little or no maintenance, did not have to be taken down. So a permanent structure rather than something you had to take down. And the ones we have at the splash pad, the tensile structures we have there, the shade sails, those come down in the winter. This would stay up all year round, which would allow for winter activities to take place at French Landing Park under the tensile structure as well. When those criteria went out, the landscape architect brought back a few tensile structures that were close, but this was the only one out of that met all the criteria. And the closest one in price to this one was $250,000. So what we're asking the board to do today, to authorize the selection of this tensile structure. And then this structure will be put into the bid package. Without selecting this tensile structure now, the design for the plans and specs would be incomplete because the general contractor would be selecting the purchase of, or selecting, the general contractor has to do the foundations, they have to do the electrical work, and they have to do some of the assembly involved with the concrete pad and the anchoring systems that have to go for some of these Tensile's roping systems, which is not included in the amount that would be covered by the Washington structure. So what would happen is by selecting this bid spec of the Washington Tensile structure would be added to the bid package and bid on as part of the larger package that would be brought back to the board for bid out through the BidNet and the local paper and brought back to the board for approval. So in order to get to where we need to go, we need to kind of settle on this a tensile structure and then move on. The Department of Public Services believes this is the best structure for the money. It meets all the requirements of the design. And at this time, my team and I are available to discuss this and answer any questions you might have.
Through the chair.
Sure, go ahead.
Can we go back to seeing everyone for a minute?
Sure. Be happy to do that. There we go.
So Director Best, I want to ask you a couple of questions here. So this is being added to the original bid package, correct?
This was part of the original design of the package. However, we needed to select this officially so that our designer could go in and add those features while working with Tensile structures to make sure that the engineering was correct for contractors to bid on, so we can get an accurate price. So this was part of the master plan for phase one, yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this. The mission of French Landing Park is to bring our residents to the park, correct? Of course.
Yes.
Okay, so how many, I have to ask this, because this is a lot of money here, folks. It's $138,000. How many parking spaces do we have that are being designed into this new park to be able to support spending this kind of money for this type of structure? I don't mean to sound harsh, I'm just being.
No, I'm counting.
I got to justify it to the public.
There's going to be, I believe when it's all said and done, there's going to be approximate, and I don't have the plan right, that plan in front of me right now. I'd have to pull it out of but I believe there's 30 parking spaces that are planned in I think there's 12 out there now officially, and it'll be brought up to 30 when the plan is completed.
And how big is this structure for? How many people?
This structure is, I believe, what did we say? I'm just going to put my glasses on. It is, hold on, A and B, 52 feet by 52 feet.
So how many people would that be able to accommodate?
That's a very good question. I'm looking at the document here and the number of picnic tables. It looks like there's approximately 10 picnic tables underneath there. So you're talking about 60 people.
Okay, so will this parking be enough for what we're planning?
We believe the parking for the site is adequate.
Okay.
For the types of programs and that will be promoted for the site. We believe that 30 spaces is about right.
Okay, so to justify this cost, because it's a lot of money, what types of programs are we planning on using this pavilion for to substantiate this type of cost?
Sure, that's a great question. While I'm not the director of Parks and Rec, our team, Public Services, has put in a lot of thought into the types of activities that could take place at this site. This could be the location for fishing derbies. This could be the location for yoga in the park. This could be the location for the summer games activities that you'd have in the back of the cottage. One of the ideas that Parks and Rec had during COVID was a Rec on the Go program where people could check out yard games such as what do they call it? Lawn bowling, lawn Yahtzee, horseshoes, all these things. And so one of the ideas for this park is to have a staff person Saturday man this area with those signed out equipment so that those activities, people could come to the park, grab the equipment, play with their families, bring it back, head on home. So they get to enjoy the park, play croquet, play, I don't think they play jarts anymore, but they have a non-pointed end game like that. There's also the potential for this to be part of the canoe stops. There's a the Huron River Water Trail goes right through Belleville Lake and through the river. The canoe portage is right there, so there could be canoe stops here. It's also a destination for a lot of cyclists who ride up and down Huron River Drive through the Parkway. And so a lot of people park there and then ride their bikes into Huron River Metro Park. And so this could be a rally point for cycling events. This could be a rally point for hiking events when the Iron Bell Trail gets put into place. And other Parks and Rec programs.
Okay. All right, my last question is, so if something happens to this structure, it looks like a tent, I'll just call it a tent. How much will it cost to replace it in case it catches fire from fireworks or it comes down during a storm? I mean, what is the cost to replace that if need be? Because it's beautiful, but I hate to see it ripped down and then we can't afford to replace it.
So this structure has a 5-year warranty on damage from wind and the elements because it's certified as to stay up from tears in the stitchings.
And vandalism, if that occurs.
You have insurance.
Okay.
Through MMRMA, we're self-insured. The height to get up one of the other reasons why we liked this over others is the height of the poles to the tent fabric. This is a very tall structure. The height to get to the pole is actually it's about 3 feet above an average adult of 6 feet. So it's a 9-foot reach to get to the tent.
But it won't look like a circus tent, correct?
It's going to look like an upscale community park, a very upscale community park.
This feature creates a modern industrial look that will accentuate the history of this site as a historical location for the dam and the generation of electrical power. It fits the theme. We've got stainless steel. We're going with the stainless steel poles with the power in it. This tent shouldn't look like a circus tent. It's going to have it could even have a township.
Or a wedding tent.
It could look like a wedding. It does look like a wedding tent. That's a really good analogy. If we decide to stay with white, absolutely.
When do we have to decide on the color, Director?
Not for a few weeks.
All right.
All right,
thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions regarding this? No? Clerk Wright, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Frazier,
Yes.
Trustee Borden. Yes. Treasurer Bud.
We need to hear them.
Yes.
We need to hear it. It needs to be recorded that they said yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I had a hard time getting my mic on. That's why I put my thumb up, but yes.
Well, you don't have a hard time now, so good.
Treasurer Bud.
Yes.
Yes for me. Supervisor,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. I have Thank you, Director Best. I have no reports, and I am now calling for public comment. Moderator, is there anybody that wishes to speak from the public?
Yes, it looks like we have a Dave Potter.
Oh,
Dave, you are unmuted. Feel free to unmute yourself and speak.
thank you. Dave Potter is our engineer from Fishbeck. Hi, Dave, go ahead.
Hey.
The elusive Dave Potter.
I know, Dave. Well, he did put, while he's turning on his microphone, he might be having some issues. He did put in the comments. Oh, I think he got.
There
Yep.
I am. Okay. Supervisor and honored trustees, I just wanted to thank you for extending our contract. We've been working with the township for 3 years, and it's been a pleasure working with your staff. Highly professional. Mr. Matt Bess is wonderful to work with. A very intuitive guy to work with. So again, just wanted to thank you. We look forward for many years to work with you, and we miss seeing everybody. So hopefully when this COVID curves down and we can start being around more, we miss the community participation that we normally get involved with. So again, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, thank you. You've done a great job with us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak?
It does not look like it at this time.
Okay, anybody from the board that wishes to make comments? Hearing none, I'm going to call for what do they call it?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Support.
Support by who? Miller, did I hear?
Everybody.
Since you said that. All right, hearing no objections, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Everybody, I think